Okay, guys, on this episode, we're going to be checking out the Woody Wax and the Woody Wax Sealant on the 1991 Jeep Grand Wagoneer bumper.
All right, so you can see here where this bumper, I picked this up used. It's been, sitting in somebody's shop for several years. There's lots of discoloration, a ton of scratches, but of all the bumpers I looked at, this was the best one I could find at the time. Right here above these, the fenders on the end, you can see there's kind of some glue. These are actually brand new fenders, and I'll leave a link down below where you can get them. But there's some glue around them. You see a lot of vertical streaking near the base of the bumper here. You can see right here in the middle, you can see where there's plenty of scratches and indentations where, the bumper's been scuffed up in the past. And then over here on the left-hand side, you can see where there was a bumper sticker. And in the very center, it's definitely, as we pan by, you can see how much clearer it is. Even though I think they probably put that bumper sticker on there to hide a scuff mark. Maybe we'll put one back on there. I don't know. What do you think? Leave me a comment down below as to what you think we ought to do there. But this kind of gives you a good overview of the before. Yeah, here's a zoomed in version of where that bumper sticker had been. There are all the streaks. You can see, to feel it, you can see it's all scratched up right there, and we're not going to get rid of those scratches. We're going to try to reduce as much of that streaking as we can. Hopefully this Woody Wax will work. Let's do a slow pan here so you can get a good feel for this bumper. It's not perfect, guys. We're trying to get this to be a 5-footer, a 10-footer maybe. It's not show quality. All right, here's the Woody Wax we're using. I use this all the time on the boat paired with this is medium duty bronze wool. Absolutely has to be bronze wool. It cannot be steel wool. Steel wool will not work on this process. It has to be bronze wool. This is just something off Amazon. It's pretty cheap, inexpensive. It kind of actually fell apart a little bit after using it. I probably should have had eye protection on. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Because I did notice when I ran over the very center here in just a second with the bronze wool, I found that the scratches right under the license plate kind of caught and snagged onto the bronze wool, and actually pulled out some of the bronze wool out of the webbing, if you will. We're just going to rub it all in. I've found that from detailing cars, a lot of times you go in a side-to-side or up and down pattern and not so much in a swirl pattern. I don't know if it matters here, but I'm trying for the most part to keep a up, down, side type pattern. When you do the reason you do that is the eye sees swirls more. So let's say you're working on like a Jeep Wrangler, the soft plastic windows. If you're trying to clean those or polish them, you need to go into side to side or up and down because your eye is going to naturally see swirls more than it will straight lines. And so that's what I'm doing here. You can see how, every now and then I'll do a little bit of a swirl, just playing around, trying to experiment. But for the most part, I'm going to go directional. And we're only doing half right now. So I'm going to do the right-hand side. I want to give you a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. So let's just get this right-hand side done. And we'll just kind of stop right there in the center where you can see my hand going back and forth. We're just going to stop there in the middle once we get all this cleaned up, and then we'll wipe it down so we can do a side-by-side. Again, I'm doing my best here to really get it clean just so that we get a fair comparison on a side-by-side basis so you know what to expect. So the left-hand side does not have anything done to it. The right-hand side, you can see right here, we're going to let it sit. And as it's sitting here, the instructions say the longer it sits, the better it works. So we're going to do a 5, 10, I think let's call it a 10-minute test here. And I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to go inside, do a few other projects around the house, and then we'll come back. You can see here on the left-hand side, nothing has been done. And on the right-hand side, we have the Woody Wax sitting there. So I will be back in just a minute, and we will compare it. All right, let's get this wiped down. We're going to take all of the woody wax off and show you exactly what it looks like. So this is 10, 15 minutes. I didn't use an exact timer. I probably should have set one up, but I forgot. But let's call this a 10-minute break, and I think this will give you a good look into what the woody wax can do. All right, so let's do a quick pan here. You can see on the left-hand side, nothing has been done, and the right-hand side, we've done the 10-minute test. And let's just pan over, and you can see the reflection gets a whole lot better on the right-hand side. I mean, that is pretty darn good compared to the left-hand side, where the reflection is just, it's definitely duller. It doesn't have quite the same shine as the right-hand side does just after a 10-minute period with the woody wax. I mean, look at that. Right there, you can see the break between the two. And that bronze wool, what it does is it just gives you a little bit of abrasion just to get things off, whether it's little stickers or road tar or what have you. It really helps to break it up and scrub it off a little bit. Let's go ahead and use the bronze wool here, and let's really scrub in the woody wax over the entire bumper. I want the whole thing coated, and let's try to make this look as good as we can, or the best we can, with as little effort. Easy is good, right? And that's one of the things that the woody wax markets, is that it's not about the rubbing, it's not about buffing or compounding or anything like that. It's really about letting the chemical or the product do its work. All right, so we got everything coated really well now. We got a nice thick coat of the woody wax all over the bumper, and we're going to let it sit. It's mid-afternoon. We're going to leave it overnight, and we're going to come back tomorrow.
Okay, it's day 2. We're going to go in. We're going to go in the garage. I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. We've been letting the woody wax sit all night, and so let's go in the garage. Yeah, so the woody wax, it's been on for at least 12 hours now, and you'll see exactly how it's laid out. Let me turn the camera around. All right, so you can see the woody wax has been sitting on there overnight. Put it on yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, around 3:30 or so, 2 o'clock, somewhere like that. It is now noon the next day. Let's get to work wiping it down. All right, there's all the dirt that came off, or the woody wax that came off. And you can see right here where we still have to wipe. But clearly that makes a huge difference. I mean, let's get down here. See if I can move over a little bit. So, see where it's real shiny right there? Right in here was where there was a bumper sticker, I guess, at one point. Those scratches are clearly still there. And there's the woody wax. But you can see my reflection, see the rag moving. So it definitely does a good job. I would say that this would be my first go-to product. I may get out the polishing wheel, the buffer, because I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Yeah, right here you can still see there's some streaking in the aluminum. But that's pretty darn good for a 30-year-old bumper. And all I had to do was leave the spray on overnight. Use a little bit of bronze wool, and just cleaned up pretty well. So let's finish it up. All right, for this next piece, we've cleaned it all up with the woody wax. And now what we're going to use is the Woody Metal Sealant. It says to shake it really well, and then once we get the metal the way we want it, we use this to seal it in. We're going to use this foam brush, and we're going to just liberally coat it. We're going to let it dry, and once it dries, we're going to wipe it down with the microfiber to buff it to shine. I've never tried the sealant, so we're going to try this new right now. So let's give it a try. All right, shake well. Restore metal to desired level with the Woody Wax and the bronze wool, which we've done. When desired level is achieved or visible improvement stops. Remove excess Woody Wax, which we did with the rags. Liberally coat bright work with Woody Wax. Bright work is aluminum on a boat. Using the sponge applicator, allow sealant to dry, then buff clean with a soft cloth to produce the ultimate shine and amazing depth. So let's just test it out now. Coat all bright work using the sponge brush applicator. Allow sealant to dry. All right, so we're gonna let this dry. All right, guys, it has been every bit of 10 minutes now, and we are going to buff off the sealant. Let me turn the camera around and show you what it looks like. So here it is. You can see it's turned into sort of a white haze now. You know, so here we are, we're probably 5 feet away right now, and you can see from 5 feet away, all those defects go away, and you just see shine. But when you get way up close, you can still see the defects are in the metal. All right, guys, that's the end of our test of the Woody Wax and Woody Wax Sealant. From 5 feet away, this looks great. For those who don't want to buff, don't want to scrub, you just want to spray something on, use a little bit of the bronze wool, not steel wool, but bronze wool to scrub and get any defects out that you can. Let this soak. Longer is better. We did 12 hours in our test. Go 24 hours, go 36 hours. Do it multiple times. The more you do it, the better results you're going to have. We did a 12-hour or an overnight test, and then we followed up with a sealant. We're going to see how long this lasts. It doesn't say specifically how long the sealant lasts, but I've seen sealants get up to a year of protection, so we'll find out. You know, the only way we can do is a long-term test. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Go ahead real quick, hit that like and subscribe button, because that's what's going to tell the YouTube algorithm to share this with others. And I appreciate you guys tuning in.